The Lebanon Valley Indoor Classic Tractor Expo in Pennsylvania is held each year in late February, which is a good time to show off your classic farm or garden tractor indoors. Even so, on a bone-chilling day, we asked Eddie Collins to roll his John Deere 120 out of the building and take it for a spin outdoors.
It's a 1970 John Deere 120. I bought it probably 6 or 7 years ago and tore it all down and sandblasted and repainted it. And didn't touch the motor or transmission because everything seemed to be all right with it, so I just left it alone. The 120 was kind of your base model for your 140. You only had one hydraulic lever and you didn't have the dual brakes. And the 120 had a 12 horsepower Kohler instead of the 14 that the 140 did. So pretty much it was just the base model.
The 120 was built at the John Deere Horicon Works in Wisconsin. 1970 was the first year for this model, but it was not the hit the company hoped for.
They really didn't go over too well. They was only made for 2 years, 70 and 71, and they just didn't sell a whole lot of them, and they ended up discontinuing it and just kept on with the 140. Probably not powerful enough because it was built pretty much, as the 140, just didn't have the options.
Even though the John Deere 120 was not very successful in the marketplace, Eddie says there's lots to like about this green machine.
When they came out with the hydrostatic transmission, it was a lot, you could really adjust your speeds for mowing or rototilling. It was a lot better than a gear drive. My favorite thing would probably be that, I restored it myself and pretty much did all the work by myself. It's a really good accomplishment when you can, take something that's kind of rough and fix it up yourself.
Eddie did do a good bit of work to get his 120 looking like new, and he's outfitted his tractor with several features that are correct for the 1970 era.
Well, I got the front slab weight bracket on it. That's a factory Deere. Got the wheel weights. And I've also got the sleeve hitch on the back with a Brinly planter. The front box is for the fertilizer and the rear box is for your seed. And they had different seed plates for different kind of vegetables.
In addition to his 120 with the Brinly planter, Eddie also brought another John Deere garden tractor to the Lebanon Valley Indoor Expo.
It's a 1963 110 that was shipped to Baltimore, Maryland. It's got a number 7 sprayer attachment on it. That pretty neat attachment. Well, the number 7 sprayer, it was, factory John Deere. They made it themselves.
Unique attachments always catch the eye of collectors. And although Eddie is nearly 20 years younger than his John Deere 120, his case of classic tractor fever got started a long time ago.
My grandfather, he started me out when I think I was 5 or 6 years old on a LA John Deere, and that's when I got bit by the bug. And the garden tractors are just a little bit more easier to maintain and don't take up as much space. I have probably at least close to 20 garden tractors, and then I have 2 antique tractors, and my grandfather's got at least 10 or 12 antique tractors. I like the old stuff. I'd much rather have something old than something new. My wife says I'm obsessed.
Yeah, it seems Eddie's case of classic tractor fever is not a mild one, and to keep his green fever going, he's been known to run great risks.
Well, the biggest one that I can say is when me and my wife got married, I found 2 John Deere 318s, and she told me that we could either go on our honeymoon or I could buy those tractors. And I cut my grass for 7 years with a 318 garden tractor. So that tells you how bad I've got the bug.
Steady, Eddie. You don't want to end up sleeping in the tractor shed, no matter how sweet your John Deere 120 looks and sounds. Thanks for catching Classic Tractor Fever. If green is your scene, be sure to check out these other classic stories. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button to keep those classic tractor stories rolling.